Welcome to our comprehensive guide on voting in the USA. Today, we're going to break down everything you need to know about how elections actually work, the often labyrinthine voting process, and the many factors that can impact it. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to delve into a system that's as fascinating as it is frustrating. From understanding who's actually allowed to vote to the Electoral College, we're going to unpack it all. Let's get started. So, you want to vote in America? It's a noble endeavor, but it's not as simple as just showing up at the polls. First, you have to be eligible. This means meeting several criteria that can sometimes feel like jumping through hoops. The first hurdle is age. You have to be 18 years old. This is a straightforward requirement, but it's just the beginning. Next up, citizenship. You have to be a US citizen to vote in federal elections. This means natural-born citizens and naturalized citizens are eligible. However, US territories like Puerto Rico and Guam are full of US citizens who can't vote for president. This is a unique quirk of the American voting system. Residency is another requirement. You have to live in the state where you're voting. This ensures that you are voting in the correct local elections. This can get complicated for people who move frequently or college students. They need to update their registration every time they change their address. Then, criminal convictions. The rules vary wildly from state to state. Some states restore voting rights after serving time, while others impose lifelong bans. Some states allow voting after serving time, while others have more restrictions. It's crucial to know your state's specific laws regarding this. And finally, voter registration. In most states, you have to register before the election. This is a critical step that many people overlook. Deadlines can sneak up on you, and registration purges can complicate things. Missing a deadline can mean missing your chance to vote. It's a system ripe for shenanigans. Voter suppression tactics and misinformation can make the process even more daunting. So make sure you're registered and know your state's rules. Take the time to educate yourself about the requirements and deadlines. It's not always straightforward, but it's worth it. Voting is a powerful way to have your voice heard and make a difference. Stay informed and stay prepared. Your vote matters. Every vote counts, and being prepared ensures that your voice is part of the democratic process. You've navigated voter eligibility. Congratulations. Now you're ready to dive into the world of American elections. Think of it as a grand buffet, each election offering a different flavor. Let's explore this diverse spread of American elections. First up, we have the presidential elections, the grand quadrennial showdown for the White House. This is where the nation decides who will lead the country for the next 4 years. Then we have the midterm elections occurring every 4 years, right in the middle of a presidential term. These elections determine all House seats and a significant portion of the Senate, shaping the legislative branch. Local elections are next on our list. These include elections for mayors, city council members, school board members, and other local officials. While they might seem small compared to national elections, local elections have a profound impact on your daily life, influencing everything from public schools to local infrastructure. And let's not forget the primary elections, the battleground where each party selects their candidate for the general election. It's like a political Hunger Games, but with mudslinging instead of fighting. Candidates vie for their party's nomination, often engaging in heated debates and intense campaigning. Each type of election, whether it's presidential, midterm, local, or primary, plays a crucial role in shaping our government and the policies that affect our lives. So pay attention to all of them. Your participation is key. Every vote counts, and being informed about each type of election ensures that your voice is heard in every aspect of governance. Ready to cast your vote? It's one of the most important actions you can take as a citizen. Let's break down the different voting methods. First up, in-person voting. Show up at your designated polling place on election day. This is the traditional method where you can feel the energy of democracy in action. But if you can't make it, there's absentee voting, vote by mail. This method allows you to participate without physically being there. Great for those out of town with disabilities or who hate lines. Early voting, cast your ballot in person before election day. This option provides flexibility and can help avoid the rush. It's like a pre-game show for democracy. And finally, provisional voting for when something goes wrong at the polling place. Maybe your name isn't on the list or you forgot your ID. It's the backup plan for democracy. Your vote will be counted once your eligibility is confirmed. Each method has its pros and cons. Consider your personal situation and choose wisely. Choose the one that works best for you. Plan ahead to ensure your vote is counted and make your voice heard. Every vote counts and your participation shapes the future. Now let's talk about voting rights and restrictions, voter ID laws. Proponents say they prevent fraud, opponents say they disenfranchise vulnerable groups. Voter purges, states remove voters from rolls, often for questionable reasons. Did you know you can be purged for not voting in a certain number of elections? Voting accessibility, ensuring polling places are accessible and plentiful. It's crucial for a fair voting process. These issues can make it harder for certain people to vote. Stay informed about your rights. Fight for a more inclusive system. Democracy should be accessible to all. Time to talk about the Electoral College. Instead of directly electing the president, Americans vote for electors. Each state gets a certain number of electors based on its population. In most states, it's a winner-take-all system. This can lead to bizarre outcomes like winning the popular vote but losing the election. It's happened 5 times in US history. Swing states get all the attention while others are ignored. Is the Electoral College fair? Is it democratic? These are questions Americans have debated for centuries. The discussion continues. The United States has one of the lowest voter turnout rates among developed democracies. In the 2020 presidential election, only about 66% of eligible voters cast a ballot. So why don't more Americans vote? It's complicated. Factors include voter apathy, disillusionment, and barriers like voter ID laws and limited polling places. But every vote matters. When people don't vote, it gives more power to special interests. So the next time you hear someone say, "My vote doesn't matter," tell them to think again. In a democracy, every voice counts, even yours. Make your voice heard. Let's talk about voter fraud and election integrity. Widespread voter fraud is incredibly rare. But some people claim our elections are rigged and rife with fraud. These claims are often based on misinformation and paranoia. Election security is important, but the biggest threats are voter suppression, gerrymandering, and money in politics. So the next time you hear someone screaming about voter fraud, ask for evidence. Chances are they're more interested in sowing distrust than protecting democracy. Stay informed and skeptical. Protecting our elections is crucial, but let's focus on the real issues. Recent trends and issues in voting are constantly evolving. Voter suppression, restrictive laws, limited polling places and voter ID requirements, gerrymandering drawing electoral districts to benefit one party, mail-in voting praised for convenience, criticized without evidence, youth voting on the rise, and that's a good thing. These trends impact our democracy. Stay informed about changes in voting laws and practices, advocate for fair and accessible voting. Democracy is a work in progress. Your involvement makes a difference. Key dates and deadlines are crucial in the American voting system. Voter registration deadlines vary by state. Election day is always the Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Absentee and early voting deadlines also vary by state. Some states allow absentee voting for any reason. Others require an excuse. Don't wait until the last minute to register or vote. Stay organized and informed. Missing a deadline means missing your chance to participate. In the game of American democracy, procrastination is for suckers. Be proactive and make your vote count. Controversies and challenges are part of the American voting system. Popular vote versus Electoral College, a perennial debate. Voter ID laws prevent fraud or disenfranchise voters. Voter registration purges often impact minority voters. These issues spark debate and controversy. There's no easy solution. We need to keep talking about these issues. Challenge the status quo. Fight for a more just and equitable voting system. The fight for the right to vote never really ends. And there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of voting in the USA. We've covered everything from voter eligibility to the Electoral College. We hope this guide has helped you understand the key points about voting. Exercise your right to vote. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more informative content. Stay engaged, stay informed and stay vigilant. Our democracy depends on it.